Well, hello, and a warm welcome back to another week on the plot. It's Monday morning unusually. We spent the weekend with my daughter and son-in-law. Lovely time for Father's Day. So I've taken the day off. I'm self-employed. I can. It's a beautiful sunrise. It promises to be a beautiful week, actually. So I've been busy doing a bit of watering at these early hours while it's all nice and cool. So you're very welcome. Let's get on with it and have a look round the plot, and I've got a few things to plant. Well, it is that time of year, June. Everything's growing, mostly weeds. So I've got a lot to do. So the first job, the most important thing, is these trays of brassicas. I think I've just sown too many, but anyway, I do have space. This had my own garlic in it, and that's all now at home drying, hopefully free from problems from the allium leaf miner. So I can't put my leeks in here because the leaf miner grubs may well be in that ground, so it's got to be something other than alliums. So that's where the brassicas are going. Hopefully I'll be able to net them because they're still small plants. So that's the first and most important job. Second in priority is the tomato bed. It's growing like mad, absolutely phenomenal growth, and we've got a really hot dry week coming up, so all the side shoots, maybe some of the bottom leaves and the growing tips all need tying in because they're bending over. Yeah, that all needs doing. The row of spinach which I'd put through the middle has now all bolted, so Cheryl wants a crop of that for our smoothies this week, and those plants are coming out. Most of these tomato plants are blight resistant. The only one that isn't is Roma, and they're the ones down the end there that look like bush tomatoes. So, but it does help if you've got good airflow around the plants, even if they are blight resistant. So that's the second most important job. Next on the list is the 3 brassica beds I already have. That one is the Brussels sprouts, the next one is all my cauliflowers, and the one that is out of shot, the third one, is the broccoli. So yeah, the netting all needs taking off, all the weeds getting out, and then some of the lower leaves which will be enabling the slugs to gain access need to come off. I've got to decide whether I'm going to leave the netting off now, because although the cabbage white butterflies are about, these plants are big enough now to cope, I think. So I may just leave the netting off. It used to be indecisive, and now I'm not sure. The runner beans, which are on the right hand frame, they're doing quite well now. They're mostly finding the canes and twirling their way to the top. The borlotti and the butter beans are growing a lot slower, but they are growing. So there's a couple that they may not make it because of the slugs. I've given them a watering already this morning, so we'll see. But we're certainly not going to go without runner beans again this year, hopefully. Which way does it go? Yeah, that way. Ah. Right, job done. First off the list, and that's 2 rows of purple sprouting broccoli and 1 row of 4 Savoy cabbages. Now, we have clubroot on the site and none of those are clubroot resistant, but so I'm taking a risk. There's lime in the planting holes and I've got my fingers crossed, so that should do it, shouldn't it? We'll see. Right, what was next? Well, you learn every year, don't you? This is a cherry tree that I got off of my mate Terry, and I've tried to fan train it. I need to tie it back in. It's lost a little bit of its shape, but I don't mind too much about that. And I got 1 or 2 cherries last year and I picked them when they were bright red. That was wrong. I've got a real heavily laden crop here now, and the ones that are ripe and very edible are these darker colour, and they're beautiful and soft and sweet. And the birds, I mean, now I look at it, I can see there are a few stones where the birds, probably blackbirds, have had a few, and I don't mind that. That's good luck to them. But I might pick some of these. The trouble is, most of it's stone, but it's still a bit sweet around it, and it's worth it. They've taken all year to grow, so I might as well crop them. Otherwise the blackbirds will eat the lot. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that. It's definitely a dessert cherry. And I'm not sure you can call this a success, so I'll have to wait and see what the carrots are like. I can see the carrot foliage, but because I've taped this Enviromesh over the carrot tubs, I can't I can't weed it. And in fact, that one there, the weeds are so high now that they've lifted the tape and the mesh off the carrots. Every year you try something new thinking you're going to succeed, and every year nature dashes your hopes. And here's another job. These are tubs of main crop potatoes, but as you can see, they're full of very heavy mature weeds, and they'll be robbing the potatoes of the nutrients that they get, and the water, more importantly. So at some point, I don't know whether it'll be today, but this week certainly, all the weeds have got to come out and leave the potatoes to grow on their own. So much work. Pleased to report that the last remaining fruit tree that I want to create into stepovers, the buds are breaking nicely, so that won't be that far behind the others now. I should have done it day one when I did the others, but they're all coming along beautifully, and they'll go in along the path in autumn. I'll stick those in, and then I'll have stepover fruit trees all the way down that main path. Lovely. Well, I know there's nothing to see, but you'll just have to trust my word that that's all been weeded. The lower leaves have been taken off. It's all a lot neater and tidier. And I decided, I've got the Enviromesh, I've got nowhere else to put it, so I might as well leave it on. Yeah, I change my mind as I go along. Or some might say I make it up as I go along, which is true. Right. That was a really boring, mundane job. I'm not doing those 2 now. I'll maybe do them one day in the week. But the really important job, because it's a high value crop for us, is the tomatoes. So I've got a coffee made. I'm going to sit under the umbrella, have a break, and then it's the tomatoes. Well, that was hard work. It's back-breaking, bending over. Anyway, I've cleared out the lower leaves that are they're not providing any energy to the plants, they're just rotting off on the ground. Cut out all the side shoots, some of them were as big as the main shoot. and tied them in. So, and they've had a water this morning, so that's the tomatoes sorted for another week, but it needs doing on a weekly basis. And I've left a couple of the spinach plants so I can take a picking before I go home tonight. Well, just noticed my first fully grown pod. I mean, most of them look like Monge too, but they're coming on, and the rain we had last week will have done them no harm at all. I might actually pick that and eat the peas inside, although they won't be fully developed. But yeah, I think we're going to get a good harvest this year from the alderman peas. It's looking good. And the Uchiki Kuri winter squash are developing nicely and starting to move out across the bed. But can we spot the odd one out, ladies and gentlemen? That is not a Uchiki Kuri winter squash. That is very much a courgette, and that's not my mistake, before you say. It usually is, but you know, these were all seeds from that same packet. How does that happen at the manufacturers? Anyway, it's not the end of the world, I suppose. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the extra seed, because it was meant to be 5 seeds and I had 6. Obviously they chucked a courgette in just to throw me off the scent. This is probably my most advanced sunflower. It looks fantastic. Really thickening up the stem now. It's almost as thick as the metal pole that's supporting it. Looking very good indeed. You may remember just over a week ago I interplanted or intersowed some carrots, and I put 2 little strips of wood over where I sowed, and I've just had a look. There's no reason why they should be up yet, but the camera probably won't pick it out, but there are seedlings. And I'm hoping more to come. A later sowing of carrots as well as my tubs. It's worth a try. So that's a bit better. There were some whopping weeds. Well, that's a cracking harvest. Very happy with that, particularly the fruit. And the potatoes are unblemished, which is nice. Yeah, very good. Well, it's a hot one. You may be able to tell. It's still a little bit, it's only lunchtime, but I've been here since dawn. Got everything done I wanted to do. I've only done one of the 3 beds of brassicas, but it's such a boring, laborious job that I'll do one each time I come in this week. Anyway, it's all going well. It's rough around the edges, the weeds are awful, but the priority now, as you'll have seen, is the harvesting. I've got to spend more time picking blueberries and so on, rather than worrying about how it all looks. So it's all going very well, and I think I'll be here next weekend. I think. I'm not sure. We've got a lot of babysitting coming up, but that's more to do with my wife than me. So I think I'm here next weekend. If I'm not, you'll know I'm not. I hope your gardens and allotments are going well and as you like them. And all being well, I'll see you next weekend. Until then, have a great week in this sunshine. Take care. Bye for now.